This tutorial is going to show you how you can use the Screencastify Chrome extension to create a screencast or a video recording of your screen. So before you start anything, you're going to want to go and install the Screencastify Chrome extension. So I'm just going to go to the Chrome Web Store. I like to access it from the apps, but you can also just Google it. So I've just gone to my apps launcher and I'm clicking on the Web Store. And I'm going to install Screencastify. And you can see here, I can add it to Chrome. And once it's ready, I know I have this message now. Screencastify has been added. I can use it by clicking on Alt-Shift or simply by clicking on the extension. So now the first time that you've installed it, you are going to need to authorize it to run. So I'm just going to click on it here, and it asks me for some settings. So where do I want to store the stuff? I do want to store it on Google Drive. It's much easier to share with students or anyone else. It's going to prompt me to sign in, and so I'll just follow those instructions. And then it asks me who I am. Now I have previously been in Screencastify, so I see all my recordings. Yours though would be empty. You can also see over here, when it comes over to your settings, you can see here you do have some additional options over there where you can configure different settings on your device. Okay, so now that we have it installed, we are going to go and look at how we could use this. So I'm just going to close this tab and I'm going to come over here to this presentation. So let's say, for example, I wanted to make a screencast using a Google slideshow. So we'll show you Google slideshow and we'll show you using PDFs. So using a Google slideshow, I'd have to have the slides ready that I wanted to do. Now, what I like to do so that I can use inside Screencastify some of the pen tools is I like to keep this in the tab. So what I'll do before I start is I'm just going to delete where it says edit, and I'm going to actually write the words present. And what this does when you're in a Google slideshow is present it, but in the tab, so it's full screen, but you still see the tabs. And that way we can use what's called the tab pen tools in Screencastify. So now if I'm ready to go, I'm just going to go to my next slide. So let's say I was doing a math tutorial on Pythagorean theorem. So I'm just going to click over on Screencastify. Now that I've authorized it, I have options here. So I have tab recording and desktop and camera if I just wanted to embed from my webcam. Now, I like to use the tab recording as much as I can because it does give me some pen tools. So if I need to annotate something, this is where I will get those. If I use the desktop recording, I don't get those pen tools. So I'm going to click on tab. You'll notice my microphone is moving up and down, so that is working. If it wasn't, you could select which microphone. You could embed your webcam so that it would have a picture of you down in the corner. I'm not going to do that today. And you can see here it's just telling me to set up tab recording. So it's just saying that it wants to be able to read what's on my web page. So I'm just going to say OK. And now when I come back to it, you'll see that I have the option just to record my tab. So I'm going to start recording and I'll show you some of the pen tools here. So I'm just going to hit record tab. In a minute, I'll be counted in. 1. And you should notice down here at the bottom of the tools that I have these Screencastify tools. So if I do want to be writing something, I can click on this pen tool, I can pick a color, and I could be talking about, and pardon my writing here, but I could be talking about a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Obviously, if I was on a smart board, I hope my writing would be a lot neater. So that's basically how you use Screencastify with Google Slides. If you want to use it with a PDF, so I'm just going to go over here and I'm going to click on my cursor tool. So what I would do is I would open up the PDF actually in my Chrome browser so I could use the tab tools the tab recording tools. So what I will do is I'm going to go into my Finder here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag and drop this over here and put it into a tab in my Chrome browser. I can zoom in or out if I need to. And I'm just going to pause this first recording because I was recording in a different tab. Now you can see here it tells me, do I want to record this tab? And I could likely just end it, but I'll just say, yeah, I want to switch over to this tab. And just like we had before, we still do have our annotation tools here. So if we did want to circle parts of the text or anything like that. When I'm done recording completely, I'll just come back over to it. I'll hit End Recording. And what's going to pop open in a new window is my video. So very important to click up on the title and name it. So I'll just call it Screencastify. And I'll say close. And you'll see right now, it gives me a few options here. It's telling me, yep, it's stored on Drive. It'll take a little bit longer if it's a longer video. We do have a 10-minute limitation for the video length, but again, for a lot of children, 10 minutes is a good length. We want to be able to chunk the learning as much as we can, so sometimes we might have to make 2 or 3 shorter videos just to allow them to chunk it. So that's going to be stored right now in my Google Drive, but likewise from here, I could share it if I wanted to email it, or if I do want to save it onto my YouTube channel, I completely can, but I could also share it on Google Drive. And if I was going into Classroom, and I wanted to post that, because it's saved in my Google Drive, and if I just now hit Recent, you'll notice here, there's my Screencastify. I could attach that to Google Classroom as well to share with my students. So that was a quick little overview of how to use the Screencastify Chrome extension.